was the question on Final Jeopardy.
It's the only team to play in the Super Bowl before Neil Armstrong's moonwalk that has not been back to the big game since. 30 seconds, players. Good luck.
Like, even the tone of the question. We're throwing in Neil Armstrong. We're throwing in how long it's been. You can even hear the tone of, what's his name, right. Ken Jennings. It's like, ugh. So you see that question, and as a Jet fan, you're like, here we go.
Yeah, I know this is us.
And even the answers annoyed me. Like, if someone rang the bell, I know it's Final Jeopardy, so everyone has to answer, but if everyone was just like, oh, yeah, the Jets, I think it would have been less painful. But instead, the answers went like this.
He wrote down the Cleveland Browns, and I'm afraid that's not one of the teams that played in an early Super Bowl.
So I got to hear that. By the way, Cleveland Browns was like a fair guess, right?
Oh, it's a fair guess. So are the Detroit Lions.
That would be your guess?
No, I know.
I mean, let me take that back. You know the answer.
Right.
If you are an ignorant football person, those would be the teams?
Yeah, because they have not played in the Super Bowl.
That's right. So saying the Cleveland Browns didn't even annoy me. It was kind of the next answer that annoyed me.
He wrote down the Giants, and that's also not correct.
Giants? That would annoyed me too. What? The Giants. I don't know why that bothered me.
Isn't it amazing how they just throw the most obvious sports questions on Jeopardy, and these really smart people have zero idea.
Well, I think it shows you smart people don't watch sports.
What do people like that do on a Sunday? I say that genuinely.
Not watch football.
like a fall or winter Sunday. What are those people doing?
I don't know, spending time with their significant others.
But doing what?
And reading in a library?
Right, reading a book.
Go for a walk.
I mean, honestly, when you frame it that way, I'm jealous of these people. Because I feel like their lives are better by not wasting their time watching garbage football teams.
100%.
Yeah, like I hear that and I'm like, that's a cleansed, healthy human being.
It's not a bad take.
Thank you. Like, I'm jealous of the person.
They're not getting unnecessarily emotional about something that they have no control over.
No control over.
But if I was a therapist, I would say they probably have too much bottled up emotion because they don't have a way to
go fishing,
exercise it.
Go for a
run.
But
they're also doing things on Sunday that we don't have time to do.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
Going to a planetarium?
Well, that's kind of fun, actually.
A museum, a movie.
Yeah. Like all of those things are cool things to do. You act like they're geeky and stupid. They're not.
When you it gets cold November, December, January, your options are limited.
Lock yourself in a bedroom with your significant other.
You got to be rattling off anytime touchdown parlays and just sitting there like a red-blooded American. Yeah. Otherwise, you're kind of a loser.
What if you'd like your money in your own bank account?
Yeah, I was going to say. Like, think about it. Think about what you're saying. By the way, here was the final guess, and then finally Ken Jennings begrudgingly told the world that the New York Jets are an absolute joke.
Her response was, Houston, also not correct. No, the Packers, the Colts, the Raiders, and the Chiefs have all been back, but the winners of Super Bowl III, the Jets, are having a pretty rough 55-year streak, I think.
Oh, my God.
He, poured it on.
I know. This is the problem, and this is something I've said a lot about the Jets.
Did you even actually know that, or are you just reading?
Oh, yeah, no idea. That's because he's smart. Like I said, smart people don't watch football on Sundays because they know how to maximize their life in a healthier way. But what annoys me about this is that there are teams, the Jets are one of them, the Mets have been one of them for a while, the Knicks were one of them for a long time, where LOL is connected to them. And that's an example. Because here's the reality. The Detroit Lions are a bigger joke when you really think about it. They haven't been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, true.
The Cleveland Browns are a bigger joke. Like, there are bigger jokes, maybe not in the last 14 years during this playoff streak, but overall, there are bigger jokes. But because we're New York and because we're the Jets, we get LOL'd. And that's the point I've always made about the way the Mets are treated, about the way the Knicks are treated. Now, luckily for the Knicks and the Mets, they're fighting out of it. Like, they're getting their way out of it, where making a Knick joke is just stupid. Making a Met joke, like we heard on Saturday Night Live the day before they signed Juan Soto, ages poorly. Mm-hmm. But the Jets, I mean, we are the joke of the sports universe.
Same old Jets.
And the non-sports universe.
And the non-sports universe. Ken Jennings is laughing at us on Jeopardy. And then all night last night, this is the part that annoyed me, and that's why I'm sharing it with all of you, and you probably already know this. Every text chain I'm in, did you see Jeopardy? Mm-hmm. And here's the link. Did you see the final Jeopardy question answer? I mean, it's constant. Like, even when we have a chance to take a deep breath and not be a joke or a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. The problem is.
You don't know what I mean.
I don't, but I feel your. No, I don't even feel your pain. I empathize with
Yeah, you got nothing. You got nothing. Because the Giants.
I get it though, because it's just. So here's the challenge. The Jets sign Aaron Rodgers, and it becomes, I mean, truly one of the biggest things in football. Right? Mm-hmm. Everybody was talking about it. I mean, hell, Netflix did a special on Aaron Rodgers after he tore his Achilles. So, like, this expectation just became massive. And then it failed, like, spectacularly.
Yeah.
And you had all this attention on you, but the failure became more, I think, relevant to non-fans and non-Jet fans than the hype.
Well, I think
you know what I mean? It was like, that's what y'all get for being so hyped up about Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's a small part of it. I think that no matter what the Jets did with Aaron Rodgers, they are a popular enough New York team with LOL attached to them.
No, I don't think it's that. Because
can I tell you why, though?
No, I think about the non-fan. So I'm surprised that these Jeopardy contestants didn't even think about the Jets because of how big of a story Aaron Rodgers was. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers himself hosted Jeopardy.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
So
he was a Jeopardy host.
So when you think about, I know. How do you prepare for Jeopardy? Probably the same way you prepare to play a football game. You go watch tape of whoever you're playing. I'll go watch old episodes of Jeopardy.
They just assumed he was some old
2
weird
years
guy.
Ago,
That's all they
Aaron
thought.
Rodgers was the host of Jeopardy.
Right.
So they had to have known who he was. They had to know who he played for.
Nah, I think they just saw him
the
as...
connection just... It should have hit, and it didn't.
Now, I think when you're not into sports, it's like not being into wrestling and knowing who Dwayne The Rock Johnson is, but not realizing he's the people's champion or anything he did in pro wrestling. You just know, oh, yeah, that's a famous wrestler, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That's a famous football player, Aaron Rodgers.
But wouldn't you assume if you are a non-wrestling fan and you know The Rock, that he's successful?
Yeah, but what does that have to do with knowing about the Jets? You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the Jets.
I don't know.
Listen, I think there's two things here. Number one, smart people who are on Jeopardy are smart enough to not waste their lives watching horrible sports teams.
They've been in the abyss for 55 freaking years.
Congratulations to them. The second part is there are certain teams that are attached to being made fun of. The Jets are one of them. Like, it's funny. Right now, if you're watching on TV, you see I'm wearing my Jet bandana, but I'm also wearing a Brooklyn Net ugly sweater T-shirt. The Brooklyn Nets would never be a joke on Jeopardy because nobody cares.
The Nets still in the league.
And by the way, they had the biggest failure in the history of sports, or one of the biggest failures, with the Durant-Kyrie failure, but they're not going to be an LOL joke on Jeopardy. There are certain teams, the Jets are one of them, the Knicks are another, again, they're fighting out of it, and the Mets are another, they're fighting out of it, who are connected to the LOL.
The Jets killed Carl.
And it sucks because it's not only battling the fact that the team is bad, it's not only battling the fact that the owner is clueless. You battle this. You battle the fact that they're a running joke, not just amongst you as a Jet fan, but nationally, even with people who don't care about sports. And that's why when I saw that, it was like, so typical.
But even yesterday with that athletic report, if that had come out about the Chiefs and a Madden rating, nobody would care. It's the Jets, so when you attach a Madden rating and they nixed the trade because of that, because it's LOL Jets and it's New York, that's why it's more of a headline.
Ask yourself this, would there even be the reporting if it was a different
Probably
team?
not, though, but to be fair, that the report's there because of the dysfunction. You fire people, they go run into the press.
But it's also a click-worthy story.
Absolutely.
Certain franchises are not as click-worthy.
100%. The Lions used to be like that. The Knicks used to be like that.
Now, that doesn't mean it shouldn't be reported. Like, if you're a dysfunctional mess like the Jets are, I'm glad it's reported. I mean, we should know. As a fan, I want to know what's going on. But
I'm just saying,
it just adds to it.
When you fire people, they loose lips sink ships.
Well, yeah, that's how everything
Someone
gets
went
leaked
chirping
out,
to the Athletic.
of course, we know that. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
That's basically how every story gets out.
Right.
Disgruntled employees or fired people. 888-808-1019.